At the contrary of the common belief, stress is not the enemy. Then who is? I'm going to tell you. It's us. And I'm going to tell you why. But before we go deeply into that, let's go back a little bit to understand why stress is actually essential for our life, for our growth. And let me start this by asking you a question. Don't you remember a time in your life that you had to overcome a big stress, like getting a job through an interview, asking someone to be your partner, or going into this big meeting to sign up a big client? You did. What happened after that? You were so satisfied to overcome that stress. You realized that you were able to do something that you initially thought you were not able to do. And what happened after that? The next time something like this happened again, you were still stressed, but you were a little bit more confident. And you had to do it again, and again, and again, and again. Stress led you to growth, to confidence. Stress is actually here to make us understand where our limits are and what we can do to overcome them. Stress is essential for our life. And actually, it was so essential for our life, for our growth, that if stress was not there, we wouldn't be here today. Think about the Neanderthal man. If stress was not there, they wouldn't have survived the difficult condition. They wouldn't have been able to run when a bear or mammoth or saber-tooth was actually running after us. But you did. We grow. We were able to understand what was needed to be done to overcome that stress, to survive. It is a survival mode, but it's not the only thing. It can lead us to so much more. So why do we think that stress is our enemy? And actually, conventional medical approaches says that stress is the enemy. And I'm saying that it is not. We are our own enemy. And that can be for several reasons. First of all, our physiology. We have been subjected to so many stresses and traumas and so on that our own physiology, our own nervous system is actually dysregulated in a way that whenever a stress comes, we don't have the resources inside to overcome that stress. Because the system is firing up so many neurotransmitters and so on. And actually, stress is essential. Why? Because with all that cascade of biochemical events, the growth hormone is actually released. We can grow out of stress. Look at bodybuilders. Look at how muscle can grow when a mechanical stress is actually induced. This is the result of the growth hormone. We can grow from stress. So first, physiology. Second, emotions. What happens if we are cut off from our emotions? We are not able to live them. And that can lead to actually a dysregulated emotional system. What is the point of having emotions and living them? Is to make us feel. We need to feel. We are sensitive beings. We are humans with a great amount of senses. We're supposed to sense, to feel what's happening, and emotions are part of it. They are part of it. So that can create eventually some kind of dysfunction within the emotional regulation that can lead us to not having another kind of resources to overcome that. Third, and maybe one of the most important, I think, the mind. Why do we think that stress is the enemy? Because this is our perception of it. We are the ones who can do something about it. We are responsible for the stress. We are perceiving it as a threat. It is a threat, but to a certain extent, to make us survive and grow. The good thing is, and I'm saying it, all of this is reversible. How? Well, it won't happen overnight. It will take commitment, it will take effort to do it. I saw it, I lived it. I was someone who was very anxious about everything in life. I was so stressed that led me to anxiety and depression many times. Until the time I understood that stress was not the enemy. I was my own enemy. And what did I do? I started with the basics of life. What it is to breathe. This is the basics. So the first thing to do is to rehabilitate the breath. Don't worry, don't be ashamed. 85% to 90% of the population is actually not breathing functionally. All of these people have dysfunctional breathing to a certain extent. And I did it. I was able to reverse that, to reprogram my nervous system through my breathing. I was able to do it. And I was not the only one. Actually, all my clients did. Through exercise, through commitment. It takes commitment. It takes effort. It takes work. I won't tell you the other thing. But this is the basics. And then another player comes into play. Breathwork, in a way that it's really intense and active and so on. Why it's so important? Because breathwork, transformational breathwork, can give us the opportunity to meet our psyche, our subconscious, our own programs, our own blockages and limitations, to see them, to identify them, and actually find a solution. Because as long as we are the enemy, we are also the solution to overcome that. And breathwork can lead us there, in that back part of our mind somewhere. There's the blockages, there's the trauma, there's an emotional imprint, there's limitations, whatever the source is, that can be met, it can be changed. Does it happen just like that? Sometimes it can. Honestly, sometimes it does. It happened. Sometimes not. But repeated commitment and effort to go into these spaces and these places is actually worth trying it. We can reverse it. We can reverse the program, the blockages, whatever the limitations, which I call a program, can be rebuilt, reversed, so that we can find the solution inside, and we can find a way to find the peace inside, find the sense of security, the feeling of security. And whenever another stress is coming, we have all the resources, physiology, emotion, and mind, our perception of it. And we're going to welcome the stress because we know that we can grow from it. We can overcome it. We can do better, more, by being more in tune with ourselves, our body, our emotion and our mind, our heart, our spirit, everything will lead us to be a better human. Actually, not a better human, just who we are. And as I like to say it, what we are. So you have seen why stress is not the enemy, why it is essential for our life, our growth, why we are actually our own enemy, and why we are our own solution. Everything can be done. Everything can be reversed. And remember, it is as simple as BFL. Breathe, feel, and live. I